guys, today I am going to be talking about how we actually blacken silver as a metalsmith. This is probably every metalsmith's favorite thing to do because it is just so satisfying to watch. To show you guys this project, I took a little 925 silver. I just took a little piece of half round. I'm always going to link every single product I use below in the description. So I'll link how you guys can get half round. If you need to order it, I'll link the solder that I use to put these pieces together. And of course, I'll link the blackeners, a couple of my favorite blackeners. But today, in order to show this project, I took 3 pieces of this half round and I soldered them together very quickly. The reason being because the best blackening and antiquing happens when you have a little bit of a groove. So we want that blackened color to go into a little groove so that we can remove some but not all, and that kind of leaves this really beautiful antiqued feeling. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you guys is this silver blackener that I like to use. It's called Jack's blackener. The cool thing about this stuff, and I don't know if this is something I should say because maybe it's a no-no in the industry, but this shit lasts forever. So when I utilize it and I blacken it, I take the extra, I pour it right back in. I probably had this bottle for, maybe 10 years at this point. Don't cancel me. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna find a little vessel that is kind of a throwaway. This is a very dangerous chemical. You do not want to get this in your eyes. You do not want to get it on your skin. It's a pretty bad irritant if you get it on your body. So you want to be careful, and you definitely don't want to just leave it around where it can get spilled. You want to use something that is definitely a throwaway container. All right, so I'm going to use Julia's old coffee cup for this so it's clear so you can kind of see what's going on. And what you need to do is pour enough silver blackener that you can fully cover the piece that you're trying to blacken. So this piece, the size of this cup and the size of this piece is a great size because we need a little bit of space around each piece. And when we put the blackener in, I'm probably gonna put it right up here so that it can fully cover the space. Now, if I was doing a ring like this, for example, I would probably get a bigger cup so that I can make sure that it can be fully submerged on all sides. If one side is even touching the plastic and sitting there, it may not get a good blackened cover. So you'll see, I'll kind of shake this baby too a little bit, and I'll kind of move him around and make sure that this gets fully covered. Okay, so silver blackener, again, this guy's been with me for quite some time, but I'll go ahead and pour it in, and I'll pour a really good amount so that I'm gonna be totally able to submerge this silver when I put it in. All right, so I'm gonna do this from this angle just so you can see the color change happen. I'm gonna drop it very softly. I don't want a lot of splash. And I'm gonna make sure that I'm kind of moving it around while it's in there, but you can see really quickly it starts to change to black. And again, I'm gonna flip it around, and I'm using just the end of a paintbrush. This paintbrush I'm gonna throw away after this because again, it's gonna be covered in this chemical. You can wash the piece really well with soap and water if needed, but I'm just gonna make sure that this entire piece is covered in really, really black. And once I feel like I have a really good coverage on this piece, which I feel like I do now, I'm actually gonna pour this extra right back into the bottle. Okay, once I have poured the extra solution back into the Jack's bottle and sealed it and washed off the entire outer exterior of this Jack's bottle, I am gonna cover the piece that I just blackened with water so that it also is getting really well washed off before I pull it out and touch it with my hand. Again, this is a super strong chemical and we do not wanna get it on our hands. I utilize the Jack's brand, but there's a lot of other brands out there that I've heard are really, really great. And there's also variations in color that you can get. For example, you can get more of a brown color, you can get different patinas. If you are new to jewelry making, if you ever hear the word patina, that's what it means. It just means a color change that we're doing. So this color change is actually just on the surface of the metal. And now we're gonna remove strategically certain parts of it so we can create that antique look. Like all jewelry making projects, we kind of have a lot of ways to do this. It's choose your own adventure. It's choose what you're most comfortable with. First, I'll start with some of the manual ways you can start to remove this blackener. Number 1 is going to be sandpaper. I would start with a medium grit sandpaper and then move down to your softest grit so you can kind of start to remove those scratches. But you can just grab a little piece like this and very softly start scratching, and as you can see, it's gonna start removing a little bit of that blackener. Another way you can do it is with your flex shaft tool. You know how much I love these black wheels. So a black silicone wheel or another silicone wheel can very easily pull some of that color off like this. You want to remember that the goal is not to remove all of this blackener, right? It's to keep some strategically in the places that you want to look antiqued. So never overutilize the tool. I would always just kind of think about going smoothly over the surface versus trying to get into those cracks and crevices. If you're lucky enough to have a big polisher like this in your studio, it's probably the most efficient way to remove material because it does do a really nice surface only touch on this piece. And then you can utilize maybe a nice little brush wheel and then a polishing wheel afterwards to make it nice and shiny. So here we have an example of a totally finished piece that went from this color antique to a nice, really polished kind of matte antique where we only have it utilized to kind of bring forward some of those details. Some of my favorite things to antique are like coins or letters that have been stamped in. It's a really cool way to bring out a design in a subtle way. If you guys have any other questions about patinas or antiquing, leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them as best I can. And as always, try to shop local for your supplies if you can. Here in Texas, we have a couple really great shops that I will also link below. Bye, like and subscribe.